This episode of the SlooPcast is brought to you by the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company is an Ohio-based company where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Mad Canadian will be with this food truck this Friday at the Millstream Credit Union on Fostoria Avenue in Findlay, Ohio, from 11 to 3 o'clock. And this Sunday at the Findlay Crafted Nano Brewery on Tiffin Avenue in Findlay from 11 to 6 p.m. Again, that Sunday from 11 to 6 p.m. Check out the Mad Canadian social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, for more upcoming information and whereabouts of where he and his food truck will be heading to next. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the SlooPcast is also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Iron Bean Coffee Company is a world-class hand-roasted micro-batch coffee company. All of the coffee is fresh roast to order, does not spend time on a shelf sitting in a grocery store where it sat for weeks because they stick the new ones in the back until the old ones sell in the front. And even before that, it was sitting in a box in the back of the grocery store for Lord knows how long. And even before that, it was probably sitting in a truck in some sort of secondary warehouse before. Why are you drinking your coffee like that when you have the Iron Bean Coffee Company that will get your order, then roast the coffee, then ship it directly to your house? What are you thinking? If you're letting your coffee go through all that nonsense before it gets to you, when you have the option of the Iron Bean Coffee Company at ironbeancoffee.com available to you. And oh, by the way, the beans are fair trade certified and USDA organic. So not only is it fresh, it's also moral. So you can buy some morally upstanding, marine-owned, marine-operated coffee at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
What's going on YouTube? What's going on Sloop Cats in our Discord? Hope everyone's having a good day.
Yeah, what's up YouTube? What's up Discord? Kyle?
Another football game is upon us. But we talked about the Ohio State game already this Thursday's episode, so we will be getting into the national scope today.
6 more games.
Yes, sir. So let's not waste any more time, then. Let's get into it.
We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right here. How are you today, Jared?
I took a slightly different tone that time. I don't know why. It felt right. That's it. That's the entire intro. Let's talk some football.
Yep, we're here at week 3. Week three picks are much better than week 2's, to say the least here. A lot more entertaining games.
We don't know if the picks are any better. The games should be better.
Games definitely should be better. We already talked about the Ohio State. We already talked about the Ohio State game on Thursday's episode. So if you want to hear more about that, check out Thursday's episode. But here we're going to be talking about, like what Jared said, the other 6 games here that we have on slate. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Our first game for our SlooPicks that we're going to cover is a nooner on ESPN. Cincinnati taking on Indiana. I have to look up what the spread is here. What we have, Cincinnati is a 3.5 point favorite.
Cincinnati's 3. Kyle? Cincinnati is currently the highest ranked team in the state of Ohio. How do you like that?
Why did you have to go there?
To point out that rankings don't matter, because we all know what happened the last time Ohio State and Cincinnati met on the field.
Every time
they've met on the field. I like Cincinnati. I adore Luke Fickell. I really am not wanting to kill them, to rip on them too bad. But let's be real honest. Their first win was against Miami of Ohio. Their second win was against Murray. So yeah, they've put up some impressive scores and good on them, because we've seen teams like Tulsa lose to FCS schools and not do what they're supposed to do against inferior opponents.
Mm-hmm. But then you look at the other side here. Indiana crapped out against Iowa. We thought that was going to be a much better showing for Indiana, only scoring 6 points against what we're finding out to be a really good Iowa team early on, and then takes care of business against Idaho. So what kind of team is Indiana? I don't think as good as what we were thinking they were going to be at the beginning of the year. So I'll take Cincinnati to cover the 3.5 here.
With only a 2-game sample size, the question has to become, is Iowa better than we thought? It's hard to form these opinions with such a small sample size.
Iowa, the only team with top 25 victories.
You know how I feel about rankings, especially early season rankings. So
I know.
Take that with a grain of salt.
So who do you have here, Jared? Cincinnati is a 3.5 point favorite.
To me, this is a situation, and I've been riding this horse this season, and it's doing well for me so far. When in doubt, pick the underdog. I have 2 unknowns right now. So I'm gonna take the position. I'm gonna take the pick that's giving me the points. It's giving me a little bit of a buffer. I know it's only 3.5 points, but I'm gonna take this 3.5 points. I'm picking Indiana because they're the underdog. Because in my mind, this is a pretty 50-50 football game.
When in doubt, pick the quarterback.
So does that lead you to Cincinnati?
Yes. Yep.
Are you picking Cincinnati?
Our guest picker is Buckeye born and bred. And he has here circled in Bearcats of Cincinnati.
There you go.
All right. So next up here, also a nooner on ABC, you have the Spartans of Michigan State, 2-0 to start the season, taking on Miami Hurricanes. It is again at noon on ABC, where the Hurricanes is a 6.5 point favorite.
So Michigan State, again, if you're going to point out that Cincinnati had 2 so Michigan State's first win is against Northwestern, it's a good quality Big Ten opponent, but they're in straight up rebuild mode. But still a good quality Big Ten opponent. Michigan State wins that game. Then they beat up on the Penguins. It's an FCS team. Miami got boat raced against Alabama, but hey, who doesn't, right? But
almost lost to Appy State.
Worse than that is almost losing to a Sun Belt team in Appy State. I really hate to do it. I really, really hate to do it. I hate to put money, even fictional money, on Michigan State. But Kyle?
Got a lot of points. 6.5 is a lot.
When in doubt, pick the underdog.
I got the Spartans here.
Sparty? Ew, I don't like it.
I got the Spartans. Spartans defense, again, who they played though, taking account of who they played. Spartans defense pretty good, maybe. So I'll pick the Spartans in this game here.
Nomad
Buckeye
says MSU to cover, but not to win. Entirely possible. 6.5 points is a big enough number that makes me comfortable. And Northwestern, even when Northwestern's good, doesn't have an offense.
Yeah. Buckeye born and bred also picked Sparty to cover. All right. Our next pick here is a 2:30 kickoff on NBC. So anytime we see NBC, we think Notre Dame. So it is Purdue taking on Notre Dame again, 2:30 on NBC. Nomad. What do we have here? We have Notre Dame, a 7.5 point favorite.
I'm sorry. Am I going first? That is
Yeah,
my
I'll
fault.
let you go first there.
I did not mean to leave that pause out there. That is my fault. Um, I would feel so much better about this. So much better about this if it was 6.5. The number we're picking here, based off of the numbers that were locked in on Monday, is
Mhm.
7.5, which gives me pause. I feel like I'd take Notre Dame with no hesitation at 6.5. 7.5. That's an important distinction. Um, I think Notre Dame is actually kind of bad. I think Notre Dame has taken a huge step back from last year. I think Notre Dame is actually kind of bad. Um, but I don't think Purdue is good enough to take advantage of the fact that Notre Dame's kind of bad. Does Purdue keep this closer than a lot of people think that they will? Does Purdue have a potential to make an upset here? Yes. But I'm having a hard time seeing it. I think Purdue lost most of their difference makers, especially in the wide receiving core. And I just got to pick Notre Dame, although I don't feel great about it.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the tough things about Purdue is that they do lose their fifth year senior running back Horvath, I think is how you say it. He's out for potentially up to 8 weeks after breaking his leg. So you're without your main running back there. I think if he was in, I would probably pick Purdue to win this game, or not win this game to cover. But I'll pick Notre Dame right now.
Yeah, it should be noted. Boilermakers currently 2-0. They win a 9-point game over Oregon State, who outside of Kansas is maybe the worst, traditionally speaking, like the worst team in all of Power Five. And then they beat UConn, which might as well be an FCS school. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, they are 2-0. Notre Dame also 2-0, but barely beat a terrible Toledo team last week, and they barely beat in overtime a Florida State team that turned around and lost to an FCS school the next week. I think both of these teams are pretty bad, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but I am going to pick Notre Dame.
All right, next up here.
Did we do our guest picker on that one?
Nope, we did not. Apologize for that. Buckeye, born and bred, also picked Notre Dame for this game. All right, next up here we have a word from our sponsors, Jared.
Oh.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and hear from the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, where he and his food trucks will be heading to next. If you missed it at the beginning of the show or you fast forward it, well, here's your chance to find out where you can get some of that delicious Mad Canadian barbecue food. He will be taking his food truck to the Millstream Credit Union this Friday at the Fostoria Avenue in Findlay, Ohio, from 11 to 3, and this Sunday at the Findlay Crafted Nano Brewery. So get some good old local brewery from the Findlay Crafted Nano Brewery to go along with some of that Mad Canadian barbecue food. Again, that is on Tiffin Avenue in Findlay, Ohio, this Sunday from 11 to 6 p.m. Don't miss out. The Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, be sure to follow his social media to find out more information and updates about him and his food truck. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
Nomad, the transitive property exists when I want it to exist. This episode of the SlooPicks is also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company is an Ohio-based, organic, fair trade certified, roast-to-order coffee company. It's like some medium roast. I'm a medium roast guy. And they have some really nice selection to pick from if you're also a medium roast guy. For example, there's the Rocco. Now, the Rocco is available in a medium or a dark, so you have your option with that one. It's a unique Ethiopian natural, is how I'll describe the Rocco. Then there is the Rage Against the Dying of the Light. This has notes of cherry and milk chocolate, orange, medium body, really great flavor and aroma. There is the Thor, which is like kind of a medium dark, and the Loki, which is kind of a light medium. So you kind of some tweeners there. But my two favorite coffees, maybe the for actually maybe like my favorite coffees, period, to be honest with you, are the Ride or Die and the Cast Iron. The Ride or Die is a gentle but distinctive version of the classic American breakfast cup. It's made from Brazilian yellow bourbon bean. Um, superb smoothness and flavor out of that. It's really, again, one of my favorite. Then there's the Cast Iron, which is a medium roast coffee made with 100% single origin Honduran Arabica beans. I cannot recommend those two coffees enough. Those are two of my absolute favorites. But you can find your absolute favorite, and if you do, you can save money with a subscribe and serve. But you can find your absolute favorite over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
All right, let's go ahead and finish our
Gangland, that's how math works if that's how I want math to work. While that clock is running, I'm in charge.
All right, next up here, we have 3:30 on CBS. We have Alabama taking on Florida. Again, 3:30 on ESPN. And Alabama is a 15.5-point favorite.
Kyle, when in doubt, choose the underdog.
Yep.
I'm not in doubt, however. I'm picking Bama.
Agreed. Agreed with that. 15.5 is not enough.
See you in a minute.
Probably have to go up to maybe about 20.5, 19.5, something like that for me to kind of be worried. So yeah, I'll pick Alabama here. Jared picks Alabama, and Buckeye born and bred picks Bama too. All right, next up here is the night game, 7:30 on ABC. Over at Penn State, where they're doing the whiteout, Penn State will be hosting Auburn. Now, everybody's up on Auburn right now because, they have the best offense and the best defense in the country and this and that. But
who they played?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, do you honestly not know, or are you're playing in? They played Akron, which is another team that we'll find out about Akron next week.
Yeah.
And then
they played the Hornets of Alabama State,
which is an FCS school.
Yes. So I think this is going to be really interesting because we don't really know. Auburn, they took care of business. Yeah. But this is going to be at Penn State, night game, whiteout, the South coming up to the North.
How's it going to be? Them to do that in at least October in the future.
At least, yeah. This is interesting. I think this is going to be a really close game. I think Penn State's going to win this. I think it's going to be a really close game. So I'll take Auburn to cover, but I think Penn State will win it.
I'm picking Penn State up and down to win, to cover the whole shebang. I'm not a conference pride guy. I'm not a cheer for the Big Ten during bowl season, guys. I'm not. I don't care. I would have loved to have seen Washington shellac Michigan last week. I'm not a conference pride guy. I'm not. That being said, but I would love nothing more than to see Penn State shellac Auburn. I would absolutely love it, and I think not only do I want to see it, I also think I'm going to see it. I don't think this number is near big enough to scare me off. It is not. I take that back. It is near enough. That's 6.5. Once again, because we're talking about this with Notre Dame and Purdue, and I also think we're talking about it with Michigan State and Miami. There's a big difference between 6.5 and 7.5. Had it been 7.5, I may have been a little more, but no, 6.5. I'm taking it. Penn State wins by 6.5 or more. Absolutely.
All right. And Buckeye born and bred picks Penn State to cover as well. So, all right. Got some disagreements here. All right, and the last one we have here, Jared, Arizona State taking on BYU, just because it's Pac-12 after dark, so we got to get one of those games in here.
You gotta love having a late game in the SlooPicks just to keep people interested.
10:15 on ESPN. Arizona State is
Kyle,
a 2.5 point.
I apologize for interrupting you again. The Auburn Penn State game is our SloopCast social screen for the week. If you're in our Discord server, we will be watching that game live in the Discord server. If you're paying Patreon, you can actually talk to us directly in a shared call as we watch the game. If you're a member of the Discord server, you can listen and chat via text as we do that. But just that you can, at the very least for free, listen to us talk about this game. Hopefully someone doesn't take over the call with their drunken shenanigans this week.
All right, Jared. Arizona State is a 2.5 point favorite. Who do you have in this game?
I got BYU. Why, Kyle? Why do you think I took BYU? If you could venture a guess, Kyle, why do you think I took BYU?
Because the home team generally gets 3 points?
No. When in doubt, take the points. I know it's only 2.5 points, which is practically nothing. It really is. It's less than a field goal. It's practically nothing. But I believe this game to be a 50-50 game. This is a total coin flip game. I feel very confident in saying that I have no idea who's going to win this game. Feel very confident in my ignorance of who's going to win this game. It's a total 50-50. So what else am I supposed to do besides take the points? So I'm going to take the points. Who wins? I don't know. But I'm taking BYU to cover.
I got BYU not only to cover, but to win this game.
Yeah. And, maybe it's more like a 51-49.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Buckeye born and bred also picks BYU.
Were you tracking our picks on that, by the way?
Let's see.
Just curious how.
Did you pick Notre Dame to cover?
I did pick Notre Dame.
You did pick Notre Dame. You picked Sparty. Picked Bama. You picked Penn State. I picked Auburn. So I think that's our one difference. And I picked Tulsa to cover, and you had Ohio State to cover. So we have two differences in this game.
How did Buckeye born and bred?
Let's see here. He
took Cincinnati. I took Cincinnati.
I think you.
No, I took Indiana. Sorry.
Oh, you took Indiana.
Indiana.
So we have three difference then. We have three difference. So that's the only difference that you and Buckeye born and bred has.
Yeah, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Alabama. Well, no, because I took Ohio State.
Oh yeah, and you
took Tulsa. Well, I'm not sure what he did because he gave us a score prediction. I'm not sure what he picked for the Ohio State game. But okay, regardless, those are our picks. I take Indiana, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Bama, Penn State, BYU, Ohio State. Who do you take, just to wrap it up?
Cincinnati, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Alabama, Auburn, BYU, and Tulsa to cover.
There you go. Kyle, what do we have in Ask Sloopcast?
All right, here we go. Buckeye Zach. Does Rutgers have a shot at clinching the Big Ten East? No.
Mathematically, yes. Realistically,
no. Another question. Could we see an undefeated Iowa taking on Rutgers in the Big Ten title game?
No. Stop it with the Rutgers. Come on, man. I like Shiano and I like it all too, buddy, but no. Let's pump those brakes.
Nomad asks, with A&M and LSU less than stellar, does anyone compete with Alabama this year?
Not in the West. If that's the implied question here, no, not in the West. I think, is it Mississippi ranked fairly high right now? I don't look it up. I don't care.
I think it's Mississippi State.
Is it Mississippi State?
Even then,
I don't care. Yeah, no one in the West is touching Bama this year. Like, could Florida cover? Like, did I take Bama? Did I take Bama with a lot of certainty to win and cover? Yes, I did. Could Florida cover? Yeah, they could. Are they going to win that football game? No, they're not winning that football game. Georgia has a really nice squad this year. That a great defensive line is a great equalizer in a football game. Georgia has a great defensive line.
Yes.
I think that's, if we're talking about the SEC in general, Georgia could challenge Bama potentially in one game, and that's all they need. All they need is one game. If they played 7 games like it was the NBA, no, Bama wins a 7-game series. One game, yeah, Georgia can do that. But outside of that, no. The SEC is very top heavy this year. I don't like Texas A&M is fine, but not great. Florida's fine, but not great. Bama and Georgia are both very good. Outside of that, anyone, Kyle? Like, they have 2 very good teams and 2 mediocre, high mediocre, fairly good teams.
Arkansas?
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right. Another question here. Who does Team Chaos strike this week?
All right. Pick an upset, Kyle. Who do you got?
All right. Let's see here. Oh, we got a rivalry battle, which I don't think is going to be all that entertaining. Nebraska and Oklahoma. Do you foresee a upset with that game?
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Cincinnati and Indiana is definitely a game you could look out for.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
if you're looking surprises us.
If you're looking, that would be a true Team Chaos, a top 10 team, an unranked team. If you have to bet on Team Chaos, if you're betting on Team Chaos, I'd take him in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Michigan State over ranked Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's already lost. Miami's ranked barely. Technically it is. It's an unranked team versus a ranked team. Technically it's a Team Chaos scenario, but is it?
Mm-hmm.
Purdue, I think, has a legitimate chance against Notre Dame. I think that would count under Team Chaos rules.
I think I mentioned this on Monday's episode, I believe. Watch out. Well, I'm not going to be watching this game, but keep an eye on the scoreboard at 8:00. Tulane and Ole Miss.
Yeah, that would also technically qualify. I've been told by a lot of Oregon fans recently that Fresno State's actually really good, you guys. They play UCLA this weekend. UCLA is currently up to 13th in the polls. I'm not saying I see it. Because I don't, but just saying, a lot of Oregon fans have been trying to tell me.
Ooh, this is the fun game. Love to watch every year. It's the battle of the brains. Northwestern and Duke.
Wasn't it Northwestern and Vanderbilt last time? Or maybe that was 2 years ago. Last year it was Duke. No, there were no out of conference last year. I feel like it was Vanderbilt recently. Anyway,
Duke.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I think those are possibly some games to keep an eye out
but
for.
Indiana, Cincinnati, I think, is your absolute best case for chaos.
Ooh, here's a good one with the USC coach vacancy right now. If not our rivals lose this week at home, is Franklin a lock to leave?
No.
If offered the USC job?
No. And I'm not saying he won't do it, but you lost me at lock. The second I heard Kyle say lock, no. I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he doesn't. I feel very doubtful that he does, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he doesn't. Feels like Penn State's finally getting their feet underneath him. If it would feel like a real weird time to leave.
Yeah, I mean they got a good victory first game of the year against Wisconsin. We'll see. We'll see. All right, I think that's all the questions we have for today, Jared. You
I
got
think
anything
maybe
else?
you want to grab that last Nomad one. We have a moment.
Okay. Will Oregon who will Oregon downplay against Pac-12 this year, like against a Pac-12 team?
October 23rd, they play UCLA. October 2nd, we've already seen Stanford upset one team, maybe a second.
Mhm.
They play Oregon. Excuse me. They are Oregon. They play Utah November 20th. Those appear to be their biggest hurdles left on the schedule. So if I had to pick one, let's say UCLA.
Okay.
I'm
Fair enough.
there's a very close relationship between Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. There will be information shared, I am sure. Although I don't know I don't know what the hell Ryan Day is going to be able to say to him, other than some lessons learned and don't hire Gary Combs. Um, but yeah, I would bookmark UCLA. That as of week 2, that appears to be the premier matchup this season in the Pac-12. Who would have guessed it?
Yep. All right, Jared. Right at the little more than 30 mark. So I think we did good at this episode. Let's go ahead and end it on a high note.
All right. Yeah, highly efficient. That's if the Sloopcast is nothing else. Nothing else, gangland. We're highly efficient. And then something falls off of my computer and makes a noise. Because I have to, if I'm going to scream highly efficient, then I have to immediately do something to disprove myself because comedy rules us all. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's the end of the episode. I'd like to encourage everyone to go to thesloopcast.com, just to find all of our information. Join our Discord server. We'll be talking football in there all weekend in a controlled and moderated environment, far away from the shit show of the general internet of Twitter and so on and so forth. So come and join us. We try and keep things at least semi sane over there. So if you're looking for if you miss having interaction on college football for college football over the internet, um, but you're tired of social media, come join us. We'll be chatting during the games. So like I said, join the Discord server, discord.thesloopcast.com. If you don't know Discord, it's a website, it's an app. It's if you've ever used something like Slack or Teams at work, it's in that same general vein, that same general idea. So if you ever use something like that, you kind of get what we're going for with Discord. Come join us, discord.sloopcast.com. You can find the app in the Android store, you can find the app in the Apple store, or you could just go to I think it's just discord.com or discord.app or something like that on your web browser. So yeah, come join us. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Mentioned on Thursdays, but let's make it 2 in a row for the crew this weekend.
Absolutely. That's a good follow-up to yesterday's. All right. Tonight's ending music is the Cordial Sins, another Columbus-based band. So I want you to go ahead and check them out. For our YouTube audience, you guys don't get to hear the music because YouTube, but you can check out the links below if you want to be in on the music that we play on the show. Just go down there. It's normally a YouTube link straight to the song. Click on it, and you get the proper ending everyone else gets. And I'll just follow the band. Follow them on Bandcamp. Follow them on YouTube. Follow the band wherever you can follow the band. Give them a listen and give them a shot. And we have to support our local creatives. If we want Columbus to be or Ohio to be a place for creatives, then we have to support the ones who are here and trying and doing. So that's my soapbox. I'm going to hop back off of it and tell you to enjoy this song by the Cordial Sins. So with all of that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is the Cordial Sins.